Day 3 at Hunter Trim, and we spent the first 2 days observing out in Gemba, getting a deep understanding of what's actually going on, and we came up with a plan. Me and Louise came up with the challenge, and we're going to throw down the gauntlet for the guys this morning, put them into teams to come up with a solution on how to improve both their assembly area and their door processing area. Here's Louise explaining the challenge to the guys, and he's becoming quite the sensei because I can't speak Spanish, so it's all up to him to get the message across. We split up into 2 teams and went off and started hashing out a plan.
¿Cómo es que vamos a juntar que llegue un solo gabinete, todas las piezas en un carro?
My Spanish sucks, but uno cabinet solo sounds like one-piece flow to me, and I love it.
Or just another cart that he takes all of his parts off and he flips it around.
I don't know what.
How many carts at a time?
Flow right there.
How many cabinets at a time?
One at a time.
Our plan was to eliminate 75% of all the walking that the assembly guys were doing. Our step 1 was to create a slightly different flow. Of course, we mark it on the floor right away so everyone knows. We then created a point system to give the guys a target every day. Here's where most people panic. There's nothing going on. Sit tight, don't fear, it's gonna happen. There's 1 cart. Then we slowly got 2 carts. Then, sure enough, we started to really get some momentum later on in the afternoon. It's 1 o'clock before we really got rolling, and you can see we've got a lineup of carts ready to go. How did you like having all your cabinet parts all in one spot?
Everything is pretty good. I like it. The concept is pretty good. It's easy for us, for everybody. It's good. I like it.
Awesome. Looks like I stand corrected. In one of my earlier videos, I said this factory had everything labeled. Look what I see. They found something that wasn't quite labeled yet, and they're fixing it right away. I love it. Now let's take a look at the current process in the door department. We've got a guy on a cutoff saw, and he's cutting the panels to length. Once he's finished the order, he piles them all on his cart and moves it over to the table saw, where he does the ripping and sizing to make sure the panels are the exact width. Once that cart's processed, it moves to the gluing station. Here's some footage that we didn't capture yesterday, unfortunately, but I'm going to walk you through it quickly. We watched the cutting operations. They cut on the radial arm saw, and then they rip the panels on the table saw, and from there they go to gluing. So that comes over to this big machine here, and they go through that whole batch, and they glue each panel, restack it on the cart, and then bring it over to here. Try to get that baby. That's a shaper, and then of course they process the whole panel and shape them all, and from the shaping then it moves over, I lied, it moves over to the sander behind me where they sanded the panels, and then over to assembly. Each of those processes was repeating the entire batch. They processed the cart, moved the cart, processed the cart, moved the cart. But I want to just emphasize the point that this is how 99% of the world operates. So don't be watching this video going, oh wow, that's crazy. Walk out into your shop. I promise you, guys are producing 1 cart at a time, going from station to station, because nobody wants to do all of that walking. We teach people you need to eliminate transportation, you need to eliminate motion. And then, so the natural reaction is, I'm gonna bring my whole cart of parts from station to station. It makes perfect sense. However, in the lean world, when you start analyzing flow, sometimes you need to know when do you watch the runners and when do you watch the baton. And when you start getting a little deeper into one-piece flow, it's more important to watch the baton than it is to watch the runners. So hopefully in the next couple of minutes here, we're gonna show you the one-piece flow method, and that'll all make sense. Louise and I explaining to the guys that we're gonna make panels 1 at a time. They think we're crazy. So here we go, into the world of one-piece flow. We're asking the guys to cut off 1 board at a time, then take that 1 board and walk it over to the table saw, rip that 1 board, carry that 1 board all the way to the gluing machine, and then repeat the process. Cut one board, rip one board, carry it over to the glue machine. It seems so counterintuitive to what we all would normally think. However, if you watch the flow of parts, not watch the walking of the people, you'll notice a dramatic increase in throughput. If you watch in the background right now, we've got some classic overproduction going on. Something slowed down the gluing process, and the guy before him kept cutting panels one at a time, but they started to build up in front of the gluing process. We had to step in and correct that and actually slow down the guy who was doing the cutoff. This is so counterintuitive. Try and get your head around that we're gonna do all of that walking, we're gonna only produce one panel at a time, and then on top of it all, we have to explain to the operator that he's going too fast. He actually needs to slow down. So once we get the operator slowed down, we explain how we're creating a pull through this operation and not a push from the cutting station. We get going again, and then we restore flow. It took a little bit of convincing to only put one panel in the glue machine at a time. They were so used to loading up as many panels as they could fit at once in the glue machine. Once we convinced them that we're gonna give this a whirl one at a time, you can see in the background now the shapers being activated. This is classic TOC, subordinate everything to the bottleneck, which in this case is the radio frequency press. There's the timestamp, 2:47 my time, which is 1:47 in Texas. Now kids, do not try this at home. Make sure before you throw one-piece flow at your people that you have a very deep understanding of how it works or a great facilitator. The power of one-piece flow is amazing, you just gotta be careful.
All right, what did you just tell me, Luis? So this is awesome.
I love it.
I'm gonna let this video run for a little while with very little narrative, but I just want everybody to see really what's going on and watch closely to gain the understanding of one-piece flow. And you can still see how much room for improvement there is, how much waste of motion there is, how much waste of transportation there is. But even with all of those wastes still in the system, the benefit of one-piece flow far outweighs any waste that we're gonna spend walking. So we can work towards getting rid of that motion and transportation at another day. The most important is to understand the concepts of what's going on here. So I'm gonna let this run and just absorb. And if you're watching this video and you're like, wow, that's so easy, that means we got it right. If ever there's something that's complicated or complex or hard to understand, that means you don't have it right yet. Keep working. Everything about lean is making it simple, making everybody's job easier. These people right now are producing at about 300 or 400% faster than they were yesterday, but everyone's working way less today. We actually had to slow them down in some operations. That's what lean's all about. Easier, better, faster, cheaper, and in that order. We always strive to make the job better for the people. So as this is cycling through, an interesting exercise would be to watch the people for one cycle and then watch the parts for another cycle. And what you'll notice is the people are doing a whole lot of moving, but if you focus on just watching one board and how fast it's going through the system, it's actually incredible. We had our first finished panel out of this system within 10 minutes, and I believe the whole order was done in about 40 minutes. The benefits to understanding true one-piece flow can never be overstated. Thank you, TPS. Okay. I said I'd be quiet, so I'm gonna hold true to my word. I'm gonna shut up and let you watch. There's our timestamp and 40 minutes right on the nose. And all the panels are done now. This cutting station is done. We're just gonna finish up the gluing, the shaping, and we're already assembling doors on the other side. This is off the charts, off the charts.
Guys, 35 minutes in, we're putting doors together. This is awesome, badass, whatever you want to call it, man. This is awesome. We got doors ready. Yes. Woo!
If you're a fan of the Symphony, you need to come here and watch what's going on. I will come here and work with these people any day of the week. We got zero resistance. They were all eager to give it a try. The productivity just went through the roof. We didn't see this coming, but the guys making the stiles and rails now shifted over to sanding and assembly. This is unbelievable. So I just came back to the door department after the shop is closed down. And what do you see? Or better yet, what don't you see? Every machine is clean. Everything's done. There are very few parts. There's a few parts there. Here's another cart that has 1 or 2 parts. And then in the assembly area, we've got just a couple of more parts there. So what we didn't see in this work area was all the work in process. You would almost think that this department was actually just shut down for the day. You would have never guessed this was their most productive day by a long shot. Just getting ready to post this video, and we missed the key element. We forgot to tell everybody what improvement we made. It was the best improvement ever. We took a process that was 7 hours yesterday, and we made it 50 minutes today. So that's why we're all so happy. So we're standing here with Dustin, Wade, he's the owner, and Luis, in charge of all production. How do you feel about today?
I don't got no words to describe. The chills everywhere on my body. Feel like crying right now. I'm just going to stop now.
Speechless. Team killed it. Knocked it out of the park today. Unexplainable. I don't know what to say.
Did you know that that guy was a genius, the guy beside you?
Yeah, I knew it.
You knew?
He didn't know it.
Yeah.
So today was an amazing day. Amazing. Because first and foremost, everybody tried. Everybody just said, okay, I'm gonna give it a try. And we tried some stuff today that we weren't sure of, and it worked. And it worked really, really well in the door department. I mean, really well, and it's working pretty good up here. So I want to give everybody a high five right now. Oh, put up your hand.
$5.
$5. $5. High fives for Hunter Trim and Cabinets today. So today was a great day, guys. An absolutely great day. Now you have to do the exact same thing. Go. And he gets a hug.
Hey guys, que tuvimos muy buen día ahora. Todos participamos. Gracias por todos participar. Muchas gracias. No se negaron. Allá en las puertas.
High five. No. One at a time. That's what I'm talking about. That's a wrap here for day 3 at Hunter Trim and Cabinets. The people here put in some amazing processes, so the rest of the week is just going to be fine-tuning what we've already learned. But we can't say it enough. Flow training is so critical. Once people understand the concepts of flow, they can apply it to everything they do in every department. So teach your people flow and keep thinking lean. Remember, lean's not just for work, lean's for life.